All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story, Hafthor Bjornsson. We talked a couple news videos ago about how Hafthor was going to be taking a test to see if he had contracted the virus because he had been in quarantine for 7 days. But I guess he had recently came into contact with someone that did have it, so he had to get tested to see whether or not he would have it or have to quarantine for the next 2 more weeks. Coincidentally, that would have prevented him from being present at the birth of his son. But I'm happy to report that we found out today that Hafthor did in fact have a negative test result, so he does not have the virus, and he will be able to be there and be present for the birth of his son. So that was good news, and that's a good way to start the video, with a positive story and some good news. So I'm happy to hear that Hafthor had a negative test result in that regard. So next up in the news, Chris Bumstead with another physique update. Chris, of course, is your 2019 Classic Physique Mr. Olympia champion and will be trying to defend his title this year in 2020. And he's got a lot of competition this year. I mean, the men's Classic Physique lineup, if you look at the qualified competitors, the qualified competitor list for Classic Physique is longer than I think any other division except for maybe men's physique and maybe bikini as well. But it's a pretty long list of qualified classic competitors for the Olympia. So Chris has a lot of guys nipping at his heels, including your 2-time Classic Physique Mr. Olympia champion, Braun. And we know that Chris has been putting on some size during his offseason. The last physique update where he gave his weight, he was weighing about 260, which is like 30-odd pounds heavier than the weight cap for his height. So we know that he's been putting on some quality size in his offseason. And we know that it's quality size from physique updates just like this one because he's in good shape at that much bigger size. But let's get those predictions going in the comment section. Who do you guys think is going to win the Classic Physique Olympia this year? Chris Bumstead, do you think he's going to defend his title? Do you think Braun will get the title back? Or do you think there will be a newcomer this year that could pose a threat to both those guys? And we could have a new Mr. Olympia in Classic Physique this year. Anything could really happen. But I do think that Chris looks like he's in a prime position to defend his title here. Now, next up in the news, let's talk bodybuilding. The Europa Spain has officially been confirmed. I guess there was a chance that it might not happen, but the dates are official now. The Europa Pro Spain, where the top 3 will qualify for the Olympia, that date is now firm and set for October 11th. So it looks like that show will officially be happening here in about 3 weeks. And among the top contenders for that show, Regan Grimes just put out a physique update today where he's going through some training, some chest training with Zane Watson, who is also an IFBB pro in the 212, also out of Canada. And I said this a couple videos ago, but to me, Regan looks like he's going to be bringing his best physique to date. He's had a lot of ups and downs with switching to classic, putting on a ton of size, taking off a ton of size. I think he's really starting to find the balance of where his physique looks best between size and conditioning. So I think we're going to see a really solid version of Regan here at this Spain show, and I think he's a top contender as well. Also, Redcon 1 athlete James Hollingshead is another guy who I think is really going to make a statement at this show. He posted a 4 weeks out, kind of a full video on the Redcon 1 channel where you get a really good idea of how James is currently looking, and I think James looks very dangerous as well. He's got that kind of granite hard look to his physique. He's got a ton of muscle, so that's not going to be a problem for James. And of course, also preparing for that Europa Spain, you've got Rafael Brandao. He recently announced that he is officially doing that show, and in this physique update he posted on September 14th, he's looking equally as dangerous as Regan and James. So could that be your top 3 and the next 3 names added to the Olympia lineup? Rafael, James Hollingshead, and Regan Grimes. I would like to see all those guys on the Olympia stage, and I think that would probably be your top 3. Again, I'm not aware of anybody else that's a major name doing the Spain show, but those 3 names right there are some pretty big names. And then, of course, the next week after that is the Chicago Pro. So I believe Chicago is the final opportunity to qualify for the 2020 Mr. Olympia, and that, I believe, is October 17th. So we are getting really close now to the Olympia. We got 2 shows left pretty much. All right, now next up in the news, WWE superstar Braun Strowman, a.k.a. Adam Shearer. He's also signed to Redcon 1. He recently posted a physique update at 347 pounds. He's like 6'8". He's a giant. But interestingly enough, in addition to that physique update, he also did an interview with Muscular Development. It didn't get a whole lot of views, but Ron Harris of Muscular Development did an interview with him this past weekend where he said something extremely interesting. He's seriously considering entering a men's physique competition. He wasn't joking. He was serious. He said he wants to enter a men's physique competition and weigh close to 340 on stage, I should say. That's an insane number we're throwing out there, but 340. And he says he thinks it would get people talking in the bodybuilding world. So that's something we've got to look forward to, is potentially Braun Strowman, a.k.a. Adam Shearer, stepping on a competitive stage, presumably in the NPC. So that will be a fascinating and likely a funny crossover, a 340-pound man in men's physique. But I'm looking forward to it. Thumbs up this video if you want to see Adam Shearer step on a bodybuilding stage, whether it's men's physique, bodybuilding, or hell, it'd be kind of funny if he stepped in classic physique. Now, next up in the news, Larry Wheels. So Larry Wheels posted a physique update today, weighing 125 kilos. 125 kilos translates to roughly 275 pounds. And he's looking like he's in pretty good shape for a guy that's close to 300 pounds. And considering the fact that he's no longer training for bodybuilding, he did the Nationals, hell, that was maybe a couple years ago now. But he switched back to more of a strongman style of training and a strict curl style of training, as we're going to talk about in a second. And he looks pretty good at 275. I got to be honest with you guys there. Those biceps are probably looking like that from all the strict curl training. And in addition to the physique update, today on his YouTube channel, he also posted a strict curl video with a famous actor, apparently. And the actor, his name is Elias. He curls his body weight, which I believe was 154 pounds. He strict curls his body weight, which is very impressive. And Larry's top set in that video, I believe he got 209 pounds was his heaviest curl. He did attempt 220 in that video, but he didn't get it. So as far as I know, 209 is still Larry's one rep max PR for the strict curl, and I haven't seen him break that yet. But I'm sure he's going to break that barrier soon. The 220 looked like it was it's coming. So shout out to Larry. He never lets me down with a good Larry Wheels story in one way or another. Now, next up in the news, another curl-related story. Leroy the Machine Walker with some extremely heavy cheat curls. He says he does a 5x5 here with 225 pounds. Those are obviously 100-pound plates with a 25-pound curl bar. I don't know what Leroy's body weight is, but I'm guessing it's in the mid to high 200 pounds. But he's doing a 5x5 with apparently semi-strict cheat curls with 225, which is pretty impressive. So shout out to LW the Machine. Now, next up in the news, since we talked about a WWE superstar in this video, and we also talked about curls, I saw that the great Khali has jumped in on the cheat curl bandwagon. Now, he's not doing anything crazy. He's curling like 80 pounds, but I thought it was a little fun addition to the video because I haven't seen anything really from the great Khali in a long time as far as what he's looking like or anything, but it was cool that the first thing I've seen of him recently is a video of him curling, so that definitely was cool for me to see. Now, next up in the news, Gymshark has been making headlines with the Gymshark is canceled hashtag. Now, this all originated from a post on the Thin Blue Line Media Instagram page, which is basically a police officer based Instagram page, and they have this picture that they posted, Gymshark canceled, and they have this caption. They say the popular workout brand Gymshark has made it publicly known that they do not back the blue, and they couldn't care less about police officers. Since we now know their stance on police, we need to inform fellow officers and supporters of police not to buy this brand. Tag Gymshark in the comments and repost this post on your story to spread the word. So what specifically Thin Blue Line Media is referring to here, and they have pictures of this on their post as well, is essentially Gymshark put up a post in support of Black Lives Matter where they said, imagine a brand supporting body positivity plus Black Lives Matter bothering you. Well, stay bothered because we're not going to stop. Now, on that post, of course, they had a lot of supportive comments towards police officers, and people were saying, what about blue lives? Where Gymshark repeatedly replied to comments and made the joke, yes, we can't wait for Avatar 2. Obviously, Avatar is the movie about blue aliens, so they're kind of making a joke at the expense of the police officers. And they even went as far to say, as one person commented, it looks like Gymshark lost every single police officer that lifts as a customer, and Gymshark says, we'll be okay. So, of course, this was a very controversial topic because they were being pretty dismissive of police officers in their comments. But I also wanted to share with you guys Gymshark's response. They commented this on the Thin Blue Lives Media post, and this is what Gymshark had to say in response. They said, it's never our intention to cause any offense with our comments. We're 100% committed to standing up against racism and amplifying black voices. We are at the beginning of a challenging journey, and we have a lot to learn. We do support police officers, emergency workers, and the great work that they do. We wholeheartedly apologize for some of our comments, and we completely understand that not every member of the police force has the same negative attitude and prejudices towards the members of the black community. We apologize for generalizing all police officers with our comments, as that was not our intention. We understand that some of the comments came across as dismissive and may have caused upset for those who do not stand with us against racism. For that, we apologize. We are revising our response process to avoid comments like these being posted in the future and to ensure that our comment section remains a positive place. Again, we apologize for any upset caused. Regards, the Gymshark team, and that received almost 2,000 likes. So on this one, I'm not going to give my opinion either way on this issue. I want you guys to debate this in the comment section below. This is a very tricky one, and this is a very polarizing topic. And this is one of those ones that I just want to step back and let you guys debate in the comment section. But I will say that in the general sense, I'm generally against cancel culture for most reasons. I don't know if that stance specifically applies to this situation, however, but I do think that we should note and recognize in the discussion in the comment section that these comments on the Gymshark page were likely posted by just one individual, and it doesn't necessarily represent the whole company, although the company did let that person express those views on their page. So I just think that's something to consider, that these comments aren't necessarily the entire company of Gymshark. It's one person who's running their social media page, and I think that's worthy of considering as well. But that's where you guys come into play, and that's why I want to hear your guys' opinion on whose side you're taking on this one. Are you for or against Gymshark? Do you think they screwed up? Do you think they did the right thing? Do you think there's really no issue here at all? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, give this video a thumbs up if you did in fact enjoy it. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed yet already. And as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.